Admiral Kethver stood on the bridge of his massive warship, looking out at the stars. He had been exploring space for over 300 years. His people, the Zephyrians, ruled most of the galaxy. They had powerful weapons and smart battle plans. No one could fight them and win. "Admiral," called his second officer, "we found something strange." Kethver walked to the control panel. His blue skin glowed softly in the ship's light. "What is it?" "There's a small planet in this system. It has life on it. But something is wrong with our readings." The Admiral looked at the screen. He saw a blue and green world spinning slowly. What kind of life? They call themselves humans. They just started flying in space. Very basic ships. But Admiral, look at these energy readings. Kethver studied the numbers. His eyes grew wide. "This cannot be right. Check the sensors again." The officer worked at his station. "Sensors are working fine, sir. That planet is giving off massive amounts of destructive energy. More than we've ever seen from a world this primitive." "Show me their cities," Kethver ordered. The screen changed. It showed large cities with tall buildings. But something was wrong. There were strange metal objects everywhere. Some moved on the ground. Others flew through the air. Many looked like weapons. "What are those things?" Kethver asked. "We think they're weapons, sir, but we don't understand why they have so many." Kethver had conquered dozens of worlds. Most planets had small armies for police work, but this world was different. "How many weapons do they have?" "Thousands of different types, sir, maybe more. And they're all over the planet." Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Jake Morrison sat in his command chair aboard the USS Defender. It was humanity's newest spaceship. Jake was proud to command it. The ship was fast and had good weapons. But it was still just one ship. "Captain," said his communications officer, "we're getting strange readings from the edge of our solar system." Jake looked up from his reports. "What kind of readings?" "3 large objects moving toward Earth. They're not like anything we've seen before." Jake's heart started beating faster. "Are they ships?" "Yes, sir. And they're huge. Much bigger than anything we can build." Jake stood up. "Sound the alert. Contact Earth Command. Tell them we have visitors." The bridge became busy with activity. Jake watched the screen as 3 enormous ships appeared. They were sleek and dark, with strange lights along their sides. They moved smoothly through space, like hunting animals. "They're scanning us," reported his science officer, Lisa Grant. "Very detailed scans. Can we talk to them?" Jake asked. Lisa worked at her station. "I'm trying all frequencies. Wait, ... I'm getting something." A deep voice filled the bridge. The words were strange, but somehow Jake understood them. "Small ship, you will move aside. We wish to study your world." Jake picked up the communication device. "This is Captain Jake Morrison of the United Earth Space Force. You are in our territory. Please state your intentions." There was a pause. Then laughter. "Your territory? You have 1 small ship. We have 3 battle cruisers. Move aside." Jake looked at his crew. They were scared, but they trusted him. "I'm sorry, but I can't do that. Earth is under our protection. Then you will be destroyed." The alien ships moved closer. Jake could see weapons charging on their hulls. "All hands, battle stations, prepare for combat." The USS Defender was fast, but the alien ships were powerful. Jake used every trick he knew. He flew between asteroids and used the ship's speed to avoid the enemy weapons. His crew fired back, but their weapons barely scratched the alien ships. "Captain," Lisa called out, "their weapons are incredible, but their tactics are simple. They're just chasing us in a straight line." Jake smiled. "Then let's show them some human creativity. Take us into the asteroid field. full speed. The Defender dove between the floating rocks. The alien ships followed, but they were too big and slow. Jake led them on a wild chase, using the asteroids as cover. When the aliens got close, he would slip away again. "Fire at that large asteroid," Jake ordered. The one above the lead ship. The Defender's weapons hit the rock. It broke apart and crashed into the alien ship. The enemy vessel was damaged but not destroyed. "Interesting," came the alien voice. "You fight differently than others." Jake pressed his advantage. "We're just getting started." But the aliens were learning. They spread out and tried to surround the Defender. Jake realized he was outnumbered. "Lisa, send a message to Earth. Tell them what we've learned. Then prepare the ship for ramming speed." "Sir?" Lisa looked shocked. "If we're going down, we're taking one of them with us." But before Jake could attack, the alien ships suddenly stopped. They began moving away from Earth. "Where are they going?" Jake asked. Lisa checked her instruments. "They're leaving the system." "But Captain, they got detailed scans of our ship, and they were scanning Earth the whole time." Jake watched the alien ships disappear into space. "What did they learn about us?" "Everything," Lisa said quietly. "Our weapons, our cities, our military bases. They know all about us now." On the alien flagship, Admiral Kethfor studied the data his ships had collected. What he saw made him very worried. The human ship had been fast and clever. The pilot had used tactics Kethvar had never seen before. And the planet below was covered in weapons and armies. "Sir," his officer said, "we found something else. The humans have been fighting wars for thousands of years. They've never stopped fighting each other." Kethvar looked at the data. Every human nation had armies. Every human city had defenses. The humans had turned their whole planet into a fortress. "How many wars have they fought?" he asked. "Thousands, sir. Maybe tens of thousands. They've been at war for their entire history." Kethvar felt a chill run through his blue skin. In all his years of conquest, he had never seen anything like this. Other species fought small wars, then made peace. But humans seemed to live for battle. "Set course for home," he ordered. "The Emperor must know about this." As his ships jumped to hyperspace, Kethvar looked back at the small blue planet. He had a feeling that the Zephyrian Empire had just discovered something very dangerous. Something that could change everything. The Zephyrian Command Center was a massive building made of black metal and crystal. Admiral Kethvar walked through its halls, carrying data files about the strange blue planet. He had never seen the scientists and generals look so worried. In the main analysis room, dozens of Zephyrian experts studied the information. Their blue faces glowed brighter when they were excited or scared. Right now, they were all glowing very bright. "Admiral," said Chief Scientist Morden, "we've been studying the human data for 3 days. What we found is impossible." Kethvar set down his files. "Tell me, the humans have weapons we've never seen before. Not just advanced weapons, but thousands of different types. They have weapons for every situation we can imagine." Another scientist, Yelena, stepped forward. "Look at this." She showed him a holographic display. "These are human battle machines. They call them tanks. They have hundreds of different designs." Kethvar studied the images. The machines looked crude but dangerous. "Why so many different types?" "Because they keep fighting each other," Yelena said. "Every time one group makes a new weapon, another group makes something to defeat it. They've been doing this for thousands of years." In a small cell deep in the command center, Commander Lisa Grant sat on a metal bench. She had been captured when her escape pod was damaged during the battle. The Zephyrians had kept her alive to learn about humans. The cell door opened. A tall Zephyrian walked in. His skin was darker blue than the others, and his eyes were sharp and cold. I am Velther, Chief of Intelligence, he said. I have questions about your species. Lisa stood up. She was scared, but tried not to show it. I'm Commander Lisa Grant, service number 7749. That's all I'm required to tell you. Velther laughed. We already know more about humans than you think. We scanned your entire planet. We know about your wars, your weapons, your armies. What I want to know is why. Why what? Why do you fight so much? Every other species we've conquered learned to live in peace. But you humans never stop fighting. Lisa thought about his question. Maybe because we have to. Our planet is dangerous. Wild animals, bad weather, earthquakes, floods. We had to fight to survive. But you don't just fight your planet. You fight each other, constantly. Lisa nodded. Yes, we do. Why? She sat back down. Because we're different. Different countries, different beliefs, different ways of life. And sometimes, fighting is the only way to protect what matters to you. Velther made notes on a small device. Your ship captain, Jake Morrison. He chose to fight 3 ships with just 1. Why didn't he surrender? Because that's not what humans do, Lisa said. We don't give up, even when we should. Meanwhile, on Earth, Colonel Ryan Hayes led a secret mission. His team was trying to learn more about the aliens who had visited their solar system. They had found pieces of alien technology that fell from the damaged ship. What do you think? Doc, Ryan asked Dr. Amy Foster, a military historian who had joined their team. Amy studied the alien metal with her instruments. It's advanced, but not as advanced as I expected. Ryan, I think these aliens are used to fighting weak enemies. What do you mean? Their weapons are powerful, but they're simple. No fancy tactics built into them. Just point and shoot. Like, they've never faced anyone who could fight back. Ryan picked up a piece of the alien hull. So they're bullies? Maybe. Or maybe they've just never met anyone like us. Amy sat down at her computer. I've been researching our military history. Do you know how many wars humans have fought? A lot. Over 14,000 major conflicts in recorded history. That's just the big ones. There have been millions of smaller battles, skirmishes, and fights, Ryan whistled. That's a lot of fighting. And every single war taught us something new. New weapons. New tactics, new ways to win. We've been learning how to fight for our entire existence. Back at the Zephyrian Command Center, Velther was showing Admiral Kethvar what he had learned from Lisa Grant. The humans are not like other species, Velther reported. They don't fight for resources or territory. They fight for ideas. Ideas? Kethvar was confused. Yes, they believe in things so strongly that they're willing to die for them. Freedom, religion, family, honor. They'll fight impossible battles just to protect these ideas. Velther activated a holographic display. Look at this human battle. They call the Alamo. 200 humans fought against several thousand enemies. They knew they would die, but they fought anyway. Why? To give their friends time to escape. To prove that some things are worth dying for. Kethvar studied the display. They're insane. No, Velther said quietly. They're dangerous. Look at this. The display changed to show a human city during something called World War II. The humans were surrounded. Their enemies had better weapons and more soldiers. But the humans didn't surrender. They fought with everything they had. Kitchen knives, broken bottles, bare hands. What happened? They won. Somehow, they always find a way to win. Dr. Amy Foster was giving a presentation to Earth's military leaders. Gentlemen, we need to understand what we're dealing with. These aliens have conquered most of the galaxy, but I think they have a weakness. General Paul Carter, the head of Earth Defense, leaned forward. What weakness? They've never fought anyone like us. Every other species they conquered had learned to live in peace. They probably had small armies for police work, but nothing more. And us, Amy smiled. We've turned warfare into an art form. Every human nation has its own military traditions. The Americans have their combined arms doctrine. The Russians have their deep battle tactics. The British have their special forces. The Germans have their engineering. The Japanese have their discipline. So we're not just one enemy. We're dozens of different military traditions all working together. The aliens have never seen anything like that. General Carter nodded. What do you recommend? We prepare for war. Not just Earth's military, but every human everywhere. Because I have a feeling they're coming back. In the Zephyrian Command Center, Emperor Thexmore had arrived to hear the reports. He was ancient, even by Zephyrian standards, and had conquered hundreds of worlds. So, he said after hearing all the reports, these humans are dangerous. Yes, Emperor, Kethver replied. More dangerous than anything we've faced before. Then we must destroy them before they become a threat. It may be too late for that, Emperor. They're already a threat. The Emperor thought for a long moment. Show me their prisoner. They brought Lisa Grant to the throne room. She stood straight and proud, even though she was surrounded by enemies. Human, the Emperor said, you will tell your people to surrender. If they do, we will let them live as slaves. Lisa looked him in the eye. I can't do that. Why not? Because humans don't surrender. We fight until we win or die trying. The Emperor laughed. You have one small planet. We have an empire that spans the galaxy. You cannot win. Lisa smiled. Maybe not. But we'll make you pay for every inch of ground. We'll make you remember why you should have left us alone. The Emperor's laughter stopped. Something in her voice made him uneasy. Take her away, he ordered, and begin preparations for invasion. As Lisa was led back to her cell, she thought about her home. Earth would be ready for war. It was what humans did best. The aliens thought they were conquering just another planet, but they were about to learn that they had awakened something far more dangerous than they imagined. The galaxy's greatest warriors were about to show these aliens what real war looked like. Emperor Thexmore stood before his war council. The massive room was filled with his best generals and admirals. They had conquered countless worlds together, but this meeting felt different. We will test these humans, the Emperor declared. If they are truly dangerous, we must know before we commit our full forces. Admiral Kethver stepped forward. What do you propose, Emperor? Their colony on the Red Planet. Mars, they call it. It's small and far from their home world. We'll crush it easily and learn how they fight. General Vexstar nodded. Smart plan, Emperor. The Mars colony only has a few thousand humans. Basic defenses. It should be simple. Exactly, the Emperor smiled. We'll use one battle group, 10 ships. More than enough to destroy a primitive colony. On Mars, General Nick Carter walked through the underground tunnels that connected the colony's buildings. The Red Planet was harsh, with thin air and freezing temperatures. But humans had learned to survive there. General, called Major Beth Collins, we just got word from Earth. The aliens are coming. Nick stopped walking. How many? 10 ships. They'll be here in 6 hours. Nick thought about their defenses. Mars colony had been built for mining, not fighting. They had a few small weapons and some basic shields. Against 10 alien warships, they didn't stand a chance. Get me engineer Pete Johnson, Nick ordered, and communications officer Kate Wright. We're going to need all the help we can get. Pete Johnson was a short, stocky man who had spent years working in the mines. He knew every tunnel, every machine, every piece of equipment on Mars. Pete, Nick said, can you turn this place into a fortress? Pete grinned. General, I've been thinking about that since we heard the aliens were real. Give me 4 hours and some volunteers. Kate Wright was young but smart. She had kept the colony connected to Earth, despite the long distances and equipment failures. Kate, I need you to coordinate with Earth. Tell them everything that happens here, and see if you can jam the alien communications. I'll try, General. But their technology is more advanced than ours. Do what you can. As the alien ships approached Mars, the colonists worked frantically. Pete Johnson and his team planted explosives in the tunnels. They set up traps using mining equipment. They even rigged some of the colony's machines to explode. Remember, Pete told his volunteers, we're not trying to win a fair fight. We're trying to make them pay for every step they take. The alien fleet arrived exactly on schedule. Admiral Kethfor watched from his flagship as the 10 ships took positions around Mars. Begin the attack, he ordered. The alien ships fired their weapons at the colony's buildings. The structures exploded in bright flashes. Dust and debris filled the thin air. Target destroyed, reported his weapons officer. The colony is gone. But Kethfor frowned. That was too easy. Scan for survivors. The scans showed something unexpected. Most of the colonists were still alive, hiding in underground tunnels. Land troops, Kethfor ordered. Clear out the tunnels. The first wave of Zephyrian soldiers landed on Mars. They were tall, blue-skinned warriors with advanced weapons and armor. They moved confidently toward the tunnel entrances. That's when Pete Johnson's traps started going off. The first explosion came from under the ground. A mining charge that Pete had placed days ago. It created a crater where 6 alien soldiers had been standing. What was that? The alien squad leader asked. Before anyone could answer, the second trap activated. A mining laser that Pete had rigged to fire automatically. It cut through the aliens' shields and armor like they were paper dot in the colony's command center. General Nick Carter watched the battle on his screens. Good work, Pete, but they're still coming. More alien soldiers poured out of their ships. They had weapons that could blast through rock and armor that could stop bullets. But they didn't understand the terrain. Kate Wright's voice came through. The communication system. General, I'm jamming their communications. They can't talk to each other or their ships. Excellent. Now they're fighting blind. The alien soldiers entered the tunnels. They expected to find scared colonists hiding in the dark. Instead, they found a nightmare. The tunnels were a maze. Pete Johnson had spent years digging them, and he knew every twist and turn. The aliens got lost immediately. When they turned a corner, they might find a dead end. When they tried to go back, they might find that the tunnel behind them had been sealed with explosives. This is impossible, one alien soldier said to his partner. These tunnels don't make sense. Keep moving, his partner replied. We'll find them. But the humans found them first. Major Beth Collins led a team of colonists through the tunnels. They knew every shortcut, every hiding place. They would attack the aliens from behind, then disappear before the aliens could fight back. There! An alien soldier shouted, pointing his weapon at a shadow, but the shadow was gone. A moment later, his squad mate screamed as a human appeared from a side tunnel with a mining tool that cut through alien armor. On his flagship, Admiral Kethfor was getting frustrated. What's taking so long? It's just a small colony. Sir, his communications officer said, we've lost contact with most of our ground forces. What? How? The humans are jamming our signals. And sir, the soldiers who are still reporting say the tunnels are full of traps. Kethfor studied the tactical display. His forces should have cleared the colony in minutes. Instead, they'd been fighting for hours and losing soldiers. Send more troops, he ordered, but sending more troops just gave The humans more targets. Engineer Pete Johnson had turned the colony into a death trap. Every tunnel had explosives. Every room had hidden weapons. Every corner could hide a human defender. "General," Pete reported to Nick Carter, "the aliens are tough, but they're not smart. They keep walking into the same traps over and over." "How?" "Many have we stopped? About half their ground forces. But we're running out of ammunition and explosives." Nick made a decision. Fall back to the main complex. We'll make our last stand there. The surviving colonists gathered in the colony's main building. It was deep underground, with thick walls and multiple levels. Nick had turned it into a fortress. "Listen up," Nick told his people. "We've hurt them, but they're still coming. Earth is watching us. The whole galaxy is watching us. Let's show them what humans are made of." The aliens finally reached the main complex. They had lost over half their soldiers, and the rest were angry and scared. They had expected an easy victory, but the humans had turned their colony into a war zone. "Blast the doors," the alien commander ordered. The doors exploded inward. Alien soldiers poured into the complex, ready to finish the fight, but the humans weren't finished yet. General Nick Carter met them in the main hallway. He had a simple rifle and a few grenades. Behind him stood the last of his defenders. "You want our home?" Nick shouted. "Come and take it." The final battle was fierce. The aliens had better weapons and armor, but the humans had something else. They had the knowledge that their families, their friends, their whole species was depending on them. Kate Wright kept broadcasting everything back to Earth. "The aliens are in the main complex. General Carter is leading the defense. They're not giving up." On Earth, billions of humans watched the battle. They saw their people fighting impossible odds. They saw aliens with advanced weapons being held back by miners and engineers and communications officers. And they got angry. Admiral Kethver finally had to face the truth. His 10 ships had been stopped by a small mining colony. Half his soldiers were dead. The rest were trapped in underground tunnels, fighting humans who seemed to know every inch of their territory. "Sir," his officer reported, "the human homeworld is mobilizing. They're building weapons and ships, lots of them." Kethver looked at the tactical display. The Mars colony was supposed to be an easy victory. Instead, it had become a disaster. "Pull back," he ordered. "Get our soldiers out of there." But it was too late. The humans had sealed the tunnels. The alien soldiers were trapped underground with a few dozen humans who refused to surrender. The battle for Mars colony lasted 3 days. When it was over, the Zephyrian Empire had learned a terrible lesson. Humans didn't just fight to win. They fought to hurt their enemies, even when they knew they would lose. General Nick Carter died in the final battle, but his last words were, "Broadcast across the galaxy. Tell the universe that humans were here. Tell them we didn't go quietly." The Mars colony was gone, but the humans had proven something important. They were not just another primitive species. They were warriors who would fight with everything they had, even when facing impossible odds. And now, the entire human species was angry. The news of Mars colony's destruction spread across Earth like wildfire. Every human on the planet watched the recordings that Kate Wright had sent back. They saw their people fighting to the last breath against impossible odds. President Claire Roberts stood in the White House Situation Room, surrounded by military leaders from every nation on Earth. The room was tense and quiet. "Gentlemen," she said, "they killed our people. They destroyed our colony. Now they know we exist, and they know we can fight." General Paul Carter nodded. "Madam President, every military base on Earth is at full alert, but we need to be realistic. They have ships that can destroy planets. We have ships that can barely reach Mars. Then we build better ships," Claire said firmly. How long do we have? Admiral Beth Collins, Nick Carter's daughter, stepped forward. She had been promoted after volunteering to lead Earth's first space battle group. Our intelligence says they're regrouping. Maybe 6 months before they come back in force. 6 months to build a fleet, Claire mused. Can we do it? We have. T.O., Beth replied, because they're not going to underestimate us again. In the Zephyrian Empire, Emperor Vexmore was furious. He had ruled for over 1,000 years and conquered hundreds of worlds. No primitive species had ever embarrassed him like this. 10 ships, he raged. 10 ships against a mining colony, and we lost half our soldiers. Admiral Kethver stood before the Emperor's throne. Emperor, these humans are not like other species. They don't fight like civilized beings. They fight like animals. Explain. They used their own buildings as weapons. They turned their mining equipment into bombs. They sealed themselves in tunnels and fought to the death rather than surrender. The Emperor paced back and forth. Other species surrender when they're outmatched. They negotiate. They try to find peaceful solutions. Not humans, Emperor. They seem to enjoy fighting. Intelligence Chief Velther entered the throne room. Emperor, we've finished analyzing the human broadcasts. What we found is disturbing. Show me. Velther activated a holographic display. The Mars battle wasn't just a military operation for humans. It was entertainment. Billions of humans watched it happening. They cheered when their soldiers killed our troops. That's impossible. No, Emperor, it's true. And when the battle was over, they didn't mourn their dead. They got angry. Every human on their planet started preparing for war. The Emperor studied the display. How many humans are there? 8 billion, Emperor, and they're all soldiers now. On Earth, the planet had transformed into a massive weapons factory. Every nation contributed their best military technology. The Americans shared their advanced computers and missiles. The Russians provided their heavy armor and artillery. The Chinese contributed their manufacturing capabilities. The Europeans offered their engineering expertise. Engineer Pete Johnson's brother, Mike Johnson, had survived the Mars battle by hiding in a sealed tunnel. When he returned to Earth, he brought with him pieces of alien technology and detailed knowledge of their weaknesses. Their armor is strong, Mike explained to a room full of scientists and generals, but it's designed to stop energy weapons. Regular bullets can punch through it if you hit the right spots. Double quotes. Dr. Amy Foster took notes. What about their ships? Fast and powerful, but they have blind spots. They don't expect enemies to get close because most species they fight use long-range weapons. And their tactics? Mike smiled grimly. They fight like they're playing a game. Very organized, very predictable. They've never faced an enemy that fights dirty. Major Tony Lewis was training with the new Earth Defense Force. The military had learned from the Mars battle. They weren't going to fight fair fights in open space. They were going to fight like humans. Remember, Tony told his squad, we're not trying to out-technology them. We're trying to outthink them. Use their expectations against them. The training was intense. Soldiers learned to fight in zero gravity, in vacuum, in confined spaces. They practiced boarding enemy ships, setting traps, and fighting with improvised weapons. What if we run out of ammunition? One soldier asked. Then we use rocks, Tony replied. What if we run out of rocks? Then we use our fists. What if we can't use our fists? Then we use our teeth. The soldiers laughed, but they understood. Humans would fight with anything, anywhere, anytime. Intelligence Officer Sam Parker had been working on a secret mission. He had studied the alien technology and found a way to hack into their communication systems. General, Sam reported to Admiral Beth Collins. I've been listening to their communications. They're scared. Scared? They have the most powerful fleet in the galaxy. Yes, but they've never faced anything like us. Listen to this. Sam played a recording of alien voices. The translation was rough, but the meaning was clear. The humans don't fight for territory or resources. They fight for honor, for ideas, for revenge. How do you negotiate with someone who values honor more than life? Another voice replied, You don't. You destroy them completely, or you leave them alone. Can we destroy them completely? Maybe, but it would cost us thousands of ships and millions of soldiers. And they're learning. Every day they get stronger. Admiral Beth Collins listened to the recording twice. Sam, do they know we're listening? No, Admiral. But they're planning something big. A massive fleet. They want to end this war quickly. How big? 500 ships, maybe more. Beth felt a chill. Earth's entire fleet was only 50 ships, and most of them were converted civilian vessels. When? Soon. They're gathering ships from all over their empire. The revelation hit the human leadership like a cold wave. They had 6 months to prepare for a battle against 500 alien warships. We can't win, General Paul Carter said. Quietly, not in a straight fight. President Claire Roberts looked around the room. Then we don't fight a straight fight. We fight like humans. What do you mean? We make them come to us. We turn our solar system into a trap. We make them pay for every inch of space they take. Dr. Amy Foster had been studying human military history. Madam President, there's something else. The aliens have been conquering species for thousands of years. They have a pattern. What kind of pattern? They always fight the same way. Big. Fleets, direct assaults, overwhelming force. It works because every species they've faced has been peaceful. But we're not peaceful. No, we've been fighting wars for our entire existence. We know things they don't know. Like what? Amy smiled. Like how to lose a battle, but win a war. Like how to make the enemy pay so much that winning isn't worth it. Like how to make them afraid to fight us again. The meeting continued for hours. Plans were made, resources allocated, strategies developed. But one thing was clear to everyone in the room. The aliens thought they were coming to conquer just another planet. They thought they were facing just another primitive species. They were wrong. They were about to face humanity's true nature. Not the peaceful explorers who had just reached for the stars. Not the diplomats who preferred talking to fighting. They were about to face the species that had turned warfare into an art form. The species that had fought 10,000 wars and learned from every single one. The species that had spent thousands of years preparing for this moment without even knowing. As the meeting ended, Admiral Beth Collins looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, 500 alien ships were preparing to destroy her world. Let them come, she whispered. We'll show them what humans are really capable of. The galaxy was about to learn that Earth wasn't just another planet. It was the forge where the universe's greatest warriors had been created. And those warriors were about to defend their home. The Zephyrian war fleet was the largest ever assembled. 512 ships stretched across space like a metal storm cloud. Emperor Thexmore commanded from his flagship, a massive vessel that could destroy planets. Today we end this, the Emperor announced to his fleet. The humans have embarrassed us for the last time. We will crush their world and make an example of them. Admiral Keffer stood beside his emperor. Sir, our intelligence suggests they've been preparing. They may have surprises waiting. Surprises? The emperor laughed. They have 50 ships. We have 500. What surprises could they possibly have? Admiral Beth Collins stood on the bridge of the Earth flagship ESS Vengeance. Around her, the human fleet looked tiny compared to the alien armada. But Beth wasn't worried about the size of her fleet. She was thinking about what her father had taught her. It's not about having the biggest gun, General Nick Carter had always said. It's about using the gun you have in the smartest way. Admiral? Called her communications officer. The alien fleet is entering our solar system. Good, Beth replied. Begin Phase 1. The first surprise came as the alien fleet passed Jupiter. What they thought was empty space suddenly filled with explosions. Thousands of mines that humans had placed over the past 6 months detonated around the alien ships. What is this? Emperor Thexmore demanded as his ships took damage. Mines. Emperor, Admiral Kethvo reported. Thousands of them. Hidden in the asteroid belts and around the gas giant. The Emperor was furious. Impossible. Our sensors would have detected them. They're using our own metal, Emperor. Pieces from the Mars battle. Our sensors read them as debris. The human mines weren't powerful enough to destroy the alien ships, but they damaged shields and sensors. More importantly, they made the aliens nervous. Continue to Earth, the Emperor ordered. We'll deal with their tricks. But the tricks were just beginning. As the alien fleet moved toward Earth, Major Tony Lewis launched the second phase of the human plan. Small human ships, hidden behind asteroids and space stations, began attacking the alien fleet from all sides. These weren't fair. Fights. The human ships would appear, fire everything they had, then disappear before the aliens could respond. They used the solar system's planets and moons as cover, striking and vanishing like ghosts. They're everywhere. An alien captain reported, "We can't lock onto them." "How many ships do they have?" the Emperor asked. "We're not sure, Emperor. They keep appearing and disappearing. Our sensors can't track them." Intelligence Officer Sam Parker smiled as he watched the battle from Earth's command center. The humans only had 50 ships, but they were fighting like they had 500. The aliens couldn't tell the difference. Phase 3, Admiral Beth Collins ordered. The alien fleet was getting closer to Earth, but they were paying a price for every mile. Human ships continued their hit-and-run attacks. More mines exploded. Some of the alien ships began to fall behind, damaged and struggling. "Emperor," Admiral Kethver said, "we've lost 30 ships. Our formation is breaking apart." "Impossible. We have overwhelming force." "Yes, but they're not fighting us directly. They're wearing us down bit by bit." The Emperor stared at the tactical display. The human tactics made no sense. They weren't trying to win big battles. They were trying to hurt the alien fleet as much as possible. "It doesn't matter," the Emperor said. "We still have enough ships to destroy their planet." But when the alien fleet finally reached Earth, they found another surprise waiting. The planet was surrounded by a ring of space stations and weapon platforms. Thousands of them, all bristling with guns and missiles. The humans had turned their entire planet into a fortress. How did they build so many defenses so quickly? The Emperor asked. Dr. Amy Foster, watching from Earth's surface, smiled. "Because we've been practicing for this our whole lives. Every human knows how to fight. Every human knows how to build weapons." The battle for Earth began with a thunderous roar. The alien fleet opened fire with everything they had. Human space stations exploded in brilliant flashes. But for every station destroyed, 10 more opened fire. Major Tony Lewis led the human boarding parties. While the big ships fought in space, small human teams were sneaking onto alien vessels. They used the chaos of battle to slip past enemy defenses. "Remember," Tony told his team as they cut through an alien ship's hull, "we're not here to capture the ship. We're here to break it." The humans inside the alien ships were like viruses. They sabotaged engines, destroyed weapon systems, and set fires. The aliens had to fight battles inside their own ships while trying to attack Earth. "This is madness." An alien captain screamed as explosions rocked his ship. There are humans inside my vessel. How did they get here? Emperor Thexmore was losing control of the battle. His ships were being attacked from outside by human defenders and from inside by boarding parties. His formation was falling apart. All ships, focus fire on the planet's surface, he ordered. If we destroy their cities, they'll surrender. But the humans had one more surprise dot as the alien weapons fired at Earth's cities. Massive energy shields appeared around the planet. The shields absorbed the alien fire and redirected it back at the alien ships. Impossible, the Emperor shouted. Where did those shields come from? Engineer Mike Johnson, working in a bunker deep under Earth's surface, monitored the shield systems. We've been studying your technology for months. We know how your weapons work. We built our shields to use your own power against you. The tide of battle was turning. The alien fleet had lost over half their ships. The survivors were damaged and demoralized. Many alien captains were reporting that their crews were afraid to fight. Emperor, Admiral Kethfer said quietly, we should withdraw. We can't win this battle. No, the Emperor raged. We are the Zephyrian Empire. We do not retreat. But his ships were already retreating. Alien captains, seeing their comrades destroyed by human tactics they couldn't understand, began to pull back. Admiral Beth Collins watched the alien fleet breaking apart. Some ships were trying to retreat. Others were still fighting. All of them were learning what it meant to fight humans. Open a channel to the alien flagship. Beth ordered. Emperor Thexmore's face appeared on the screen. He looked older, tired, and afraid. Human Admiral, he said, what do you want? I want you to understand something, Beth replied. You came here thinking you were conquering another primitive world, but you made a mistake. What mistake? You awakened Earth. You woke up 8 billion humans who have been preparing for this fight their entire lives. Every human child plays war games. Every human adult knows how to fight. We've been training for this battle for thousands of years. The Emperor stared at her. You're monsters. No, Beth said calmly. We're survivors. We're the species that learned to fight when the universe tried to kill us. We're the species that never gave up, never surrendered, never stopped trying to win. What do you want from us? Leave, take your surviving ships, and go. Never come back to human space and tell the galaxy what you learned here. What did we learn? Beth smiled, and it was not a kind smile. You learned that some species are meant to be conquerors, and some species are meant to be left alone. The Emperor's image flickered and disappeared. The remaining alien ships began jumping to hyperspace, fleeing from Earth as fast as they could. Commander Lisa Grant, who had been rescued during the battle, stood beside Admiral Beth Collins on the bridge of the Vengeance. Think they'll be back? Lisa asked. Maybe, Beth replied, but not for a long time. And when they do come back, they'll bring negotiators, not warships. The battle for Earth was over. The human fleet had lost half their ships, but they had won. More importantly, they had sent a message to the galaxy. In the years that followed, stories of the Earth battle spread throughout the galaxy. Other species learned about the humans who had defeated the mighty Zephyrian Empire. Some were frightened, others were impressed. A few came to Earth seeking alliance, but all of them understood one thing. Humanity was not a species to be conquered. They were a species to be respected. Earth had proven that it wasn't just another planet. It was a forge where warriors were made, and those warriors were ready to defend their home, their freedom, and their right to exist. The galaxy's greatest empire had learned this lesson the hard way. The humans who had spent thousands of years fighting each other had finally found a common enemy. And when they worked together, they were unstoppable. The forge had awakened, and the universe would never be the same.